You're so great, standing, talking. You got me checkmate. No one's watching on nothing.
Hey guys, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little chit chat get ready with me. I asked you guys on my Instagram stories if you guys had any questions about YouTube money, honey.
Give me your fucking money!
Basically, I just asked you guys for all of your questions about the business side of YouTube. So income, AdSense, sponsorships, anything you wanted to know. Less so about the side of like putting makeup on my face and more so about the side of like doing this as a part-time job, which I'm very grateful and very lucky to have. Especially because this has become, like, over the past couple months, more of a part-time job slash side hustle for me, rather than just like a hobby that I do for funsies. Because you guys take the time to support me, and you guys take the time to do that, I also want to take the time to, I guess, be transparent about where that support is going. So I love doing these chatty tips of videos, and this is the makeup look that we created today. You'll see it in another video on my channel, but it's a very light, glossier, peach-focused, skin-focused look with no foundation. So this one is for the no foundation gang, but if you do wear foundation, you can absolutely wear foundation with this look. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and without further ado, let's get glossy. Okay, let's get started. My face is pretty much bare. I've already done skincare, but nothing else. And today I'm actually just not doing foundation. I just kind of want to let my skin breathe. So I'm going to go in with the Glossier Future Dew all over the face. And I'll start off with the first question. This one was probably the most asked on the question page, so I wanted to start the video off with this one. What is the overall breakdown of your YouTube incomes? So like what percent comes from ad revenue versus what comes from sponsors, etc. I do want to say that this definitely is going to vary between YouTubers. So like my revenue breakdown might not be the same as somebody who takes like might not be exactly the same as somebody who takes like fewer sponsorships or more sponsorships that are more profitable, etc. And like that's for this entire video. I don't want to like throw out any numbers and then have people generalize it to the entire population, because I think the beauty community and just YouTube in general is like very diverse and people make money in different ways. So do not make any assumptions off these numbers. But for me, I would say that my breakdown is like 40% ad revenues from YouTube, so that's like ad money. YouTube Premium, I believe, does pay YouTubers for like watch time, but I think that's like a very small percentage. It's mostly ad money. For me, like a good 45% I would say comes from external sponsorships, so taking on deals with Skillshare, for example, or Ana Luisa Jewelry. This year, just for like the calendar year of 2020, I've made like just a tiny bit more on sponsorships than I have in ad revenue in total. But then again, ad revenue is really finicky and does vary a lot month to month. For example, YouTube tends to pay the best during like holiday season. So like December, November, that's when views go up and therefore like ad revenue goes up. Some of you guys have asked like if I still get paid if you don't like watch the ads or if you skip them. I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe that creators get like paid more if you sit through the entire ad, which can be annoying, I get it, but it is like free content. And for me, watching ads for people, especially people that I really enjoy, is my tiny way of saying thank you for the free content. But if you don't want to do that, that's okay. There are other ways to support people. I think just like watching people's ads, if it's like a 15-second ad and not skipping it, is like a very small and easy way to support somebody rather than like buying their merch, etc. So 40% YouTube, 45% sponsorships, that leaves 15% extra. I would say 10% would be like merch sales and stuff. Before this latest collection, I would say my merch sales was maybe 5%, but the latest merch collection did really well, and I have you guys to thank for that. So yeah, about 10% from merch, and then the remaining 5% would just be pretty much everything else. So like affiliate links, I really do not make a ton of money off affiliate links. That's basically just like in description boxes when I link the products that I'm using on my face. I can basically make it so that when you click on the link and if you go ahead and buy something using that link, I get like a couple cents off that purchase. So it's really not like hugely profitable, but like over time it can be helpful if it accumulates. Codes, I really actually don't have a ton of like affiliate codes, just because personally for me that's not the way I like to make a ton of money. I know that people who have like Morphe codes, for example, codes might make up a bigger percent of their income, but for me I just don't like the feeling of constantly pushing things. So yeah, that's kind of my rough income breakdown as of right now. It definitely might change, and it definitely wasn't like this about a year ago. I would say like a year ago it was like a higher proportion of my income came from YouTube ad revenue because I wasn't really getting a ton of sponsorships, and I also didn't have merch a year ago. But personally right now I'm really happy with the balance of sponsored and unsponsored content I have on my channel. If you guys feel differently about that, please let me know, because I really want to take into consideration your feedback, and if you think I'm doing like too much sponsored content, please let me know that. But I believe I did a statistic in about like less than a fifth of the videos I posted this year have been sponsored, and even then I feel like it's still like my content. So right now I'm really happy with like what I'm doing in terms of bringing in money and the balance of like me content with like brand work and stuff. There's sunshine on my head. That's not cute. Hold on.
The sun is a deadly laser.
Alright, that is all the face concealing I'm going to do, and then for my under eyes, I'm just going to go in with the Glossier Stretch Concealer in the shade Light 10. And the next question was another commonly asked one. Kind of scared to say this one because I don't want to get demonetized, but how has
Miss Rona
affected your YouTube income? Whatever, I'm just gonna say, how has COVID-19 affected your YouTube income? A lot, in many different ways, and it's always been my main source of income, but because of the fact that I'm not working right now, this is still my main source of income, but it's something I'm even more dependent on right now. That being said though, I'm really incredibly grateful, and I try not to lose sight of the fact that I'm very blessed to have this job that I can continue to do during this pandemic, and in a way can kind of like ramp up and do even more during this pandemic because I'm at home, everybody else is at home, everybody's in need of some free, somewhat mindless content right now. Well, I hope my stuff is not mindless content. I try and make things somewhat thought-provoking, but like sometimes you just need to watch a palette declutter, and that's okay. So I'm very grateful and try and be very aware of the fact that I'm even still able to work right now is a huge blessing. In terms of how the pandemic has affected my income, I would say not a ton, just because of the fact that I had like pre-existing and pre-negotiated contracts and partnerships already existing before this. So like for example my Ana Luisa partnership, that was already in place, so I can still like depend on that agreement to hold. A lot of the sponsors I work with are like online companies anyway, so for example like Skillshare and ShopTagger, they don't really, you know, like operate in person, so that they're not as affected by this, therefore I'm not. I would say really the only thing that's changed a ton has been just like payments being delayed, and I think that's universal for like every company, not just YouTube stuff, but like banks have been shut down all over the world, so like instead of payments going through like on the last day of the month as usual, they've been like 1 to 2 weeks late, and like it's been an adjustment just trying to realize like, okay, I don't really know when my income is going to come in. I know it's going to come in at some point, but I don't know when, so just kind of like working around that and just kind of taking it one day at a time. So I think it is teaching me pretty valuable lessons about just like spending and trying to live within my means at this point, because even though I'm really lucky to still be able to like work and make an income during this time, just like learning to be a little bit more careful with it, especially when I'm like not really sure if it's going to come through or not. So like thankfully not too much, I guess is my final answer, but just mainly in delays and payments and stuff, but everybody's experiencing that. Alright, let me just contour my nose into oblivion because The next question is really interesting. I think I've kind of talked about this before, but I have some revised thoughts about it. And it's, have you thought about quitting, and do you think you ever will? For the first part, have you thought about quitting? Yeah, multiple times, not just like thinking in the moment like, oh my god, I want to quit right now, but like more so along the lines of like when I quit, and I think that's a very much like when and not if. How exactly I'm going to do it, and is it going to be like a I quit fully, or I like come back every couple months and just make videos, but I'm not regularly creating content. And as I move forward in my career, as I hope I will, I need to be realistic with myself and my time management. And I don't want to quit during med school or residency, and I know that there are YouTubers who are in those positions and still create content and stuff. But I think it's a difference because you're not a YouTuber, you make YouTube videos. I think there's a big difference between being a YouTuber and somebody who makes YouTube videos. And most of the creators I watch who are in the medical field but still have time to make videos don't upload as frequently as I like to do. So right now, while I'm in undergrad, I've been able to upload a lot more frequently than I was even in high school, and I'm really grateful for that, but I don't know what my next 4 years are going to look like. So I'll just say, as long as I am able to find the time, I will continue to upload as frequently as I can and upload regularly. And I want to continue doing this as long as possible because like I really enjoy it a lot. It's a really good creative outlet for me. It's also a huge help and a really awesome side hustle that I'm very lucky to have. But when my life gets busier, I don't think I'd ever be willing to put my career on the back burner for this. I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but like this has never been and probably will never be my top priority in life. I know what I want out of my life and I know what I want out of my career, and as much as I love doing this, I love the idea of dedicating my life to medicine more. And if I have to scale back, I'll scale back. If I have to quit, I will quit, and it's not going to be an easy decision, which is why I don't even like thinking about it. Instead, I just kind of focus on right now, I can do this right now, I can upload like 2 to 3 times a week, and I'm really happy with that. In the future, it might not be a thing. So I don't know, when the time comes that I have to stop being a YouTuber, I might just become somebody who uploads YouTube videos every now and then, or I might become somebody who doesn't upload at all. And I'm really happy with where my channel's at now, so I don't want to focus too much on what the future could hold, because there's a bunch of different things that could happen, and right now I'm pretty happy. I'm currently trying to pan my Nabla contour in the shade Gotham, so I'm just going to use this. I think I'm in this one for the long haul, but I'm like determined to pan this by the end of the year, so I've been using this pretty much every time I contour my cheeks. And the brush I've been using for contour that I want to show you guys is from a brand called Refer. This is the 04 brush. Kind of reminds me of those really like fancy Ray Morris brushes, but a lot more affordable and I think, in my opinion, better quality. And I'm just going to like lightly stipple on instead of sweeping. This is a technique that I've recently learned from Robert Welsh, and I think it actually just looks a lot more natural for contouring. And then as a result, I get a nice like lifted cheekbone on this side without it looking too harsh or anything. Alright, for blush, I'm going to go in with a mix of my two favorite Glossier cloud paints. I'm using Dusk, which is kind of like a beigey neutral color, and then a teeny tiny bit of Storm, which is like a beautiful berry red. A little bit too dark for me on its own, but together these are beautiful. The next question is it true that YouTube is a full-time job with part-time wages? Again, kind of like the income breakdown question, I think my answer to this question is going to be like an answer that you can't generalize to other people. For me, yes, I would say, especially like with my size and the amount of money I make per month, it is like, for the amount of work I put into it, it doesn't like pay as well as like other more traditional jobs would. But for me, that's not a reason to not do it. So I put like minimum 24 hours of work a week into my channel. It's like 2 to 3 hours of filming, usually like 10 plus hours of editing and upwards, taking care of like the business administration side of things, etc. But like that's on the low end. If I'm having a more content focused week, so for example winter break, I pre-filmed like a ton of content so that I could have that content ready to go for the rest of like the winter quarter of school. It really do be depending. For me, yes, I would say it's a full-time job with part-time wages, especially because I'm doing it on the side with school and then with my 2 other part-times. For others, especially with like, I feel like there's a trend lately with bigger full-time YouTubers who do this as their main source of income for a living, kind of like getting full-time wages with the part-time effort. I do think that if you do YouTube full-time, you kind of have a little bit of an obligation to at least upload frequently. Like that's kind of the bare minimum of content creation. And I do want to say, I don't really understand where this stigma against my generation, in particular Gen Z, I don't really understand where the stigma of us being lazy has come from, just because like the peers that I'm around, my peers at UCLA and even at my high school, the people I'm around work the hardest I've ever seen. Like I have classmates at UCLA who like made startups in high school or have been working since like middle school, elementary school. I feel like if you don't do something full-time, people don't take it as seriously or kind of like write off the amount of work or hours you put into it just because it's not your main thing. I don't know, food for thought. This Get Ready With Me is really like all over the place, definitely unscripted, so I don't know what I'm doing here. Next question is opinions on apologies. Necessary, very hard to get right, 100% pointless if they're not genuine, very obvious when it's just made to save your ass and not actually out of care. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows. I've been kind of living the brow gel life. I've been trying to grow out my brows during quarantine, and it's like, it's not going great, but we're trying. I'm trying to cheer these little buddies on. I just realized I didn't explain why I'm using so many Glossier products in this video. I'm filming a Glossier video like right after this. You're probably going to see that video before this video. So I'm doing the makeup look that I'm going to be wearing in that video in this Get Ready With Me. Pre-filming queen. I have a midterm this week, so I'm not filming more than one day this week, so we're filming a lot today. The next question is, what is something that every viewer should know while watching videos? I don't know, I guess I would say that, like, it's free content. I don't want to be like Gabby Hanna, manage your expectations. What if I'm the monster? Don't expect like James Charles level studio production quality from somebody who has like 5,000 subscribers and films in their mother's living room. Or just generally like be courteous of people's time, and like I'm not innocent in this. I find myself being like, wow, I really wish this person would upload more frequently, but then I'm like, oh wait, they have probably other things going on in their life. And so like, at least for me, my subscription box over the past couple weeks has been like really dry, and there's been like fewer uploads that I've wanted to watch, and my watch later list has been almost completely depleted. So in certain moments I found myself being like, wow, people like really should be uploading more often, especially because everybody's at home right now. And then I just kind of stopped myself and I'm like, they're uploading videos to a free video platform, and while they may be getting paid for it, and it is technically their job, I get to watch that content for free. So I'm trying to like kind of manage my expectations and just be more understanding of people when they do need to take a break. And that's not to say that we should just be like, yeah, Jaclyn Hill can just never upload ever. But yeah, I would just say like something that I wish every viewer would consider while they're watching people is just like being understanding of creators' time and the things that they have to do that they don't necessarily get to see on screen. Also, I know this is a joke that me and my friends have like kind of joked about on Twitter, but like sometimes viewers will be like, you need to buy this product so you can try it out for me so I can know whether or not I want to spend my money on it. And like, yeah. No. I'm not really a review channel. If I don't want to try something out, I'm probably not going to. Like, I appreciate people asking me, like, are you going to review this? Because I would love to see your review. But I don't really appreciate when people are like, you need to buy this product so you can tell me if it's good, even though you have no interest in this product, so I can know whether or not I want to spend my hard-earned money on it. I don't know. Moral of the story, that was my long-winded way of saying, just be understanding and be chill. I got a lot of questions about sponsorships, which I might even want to make another separate video about sponsorships, because I've done a chatty get ready with me answering sponsorship questions before. I'm gonna answer a couple today, but I might do a separate video if you guys have even more questions. Let me know. And while I can't really give super exact numbers for sponsorship questions, just because a lot of that is contract protected, I can of course give my perspectives on certain things. So, how do brands decide how much money they pay for a sponsorship? Is there a formula, or do they look at your views/subscriber ratio? So personally for me, I charge on engagement. I have 35,000 subs, which is a little bit lower than a lot of like bigger brands tend to work with, but I also have abnormally high engagement for my size. I don't really know how I got that. Engagement is basically like the ratio of people subscribe to your channel versus people who actually engage with your content and like watch. So even though I have 35,000 subscribers, I get like on average like about 10 to 12, 15,000 views on a video. Over like a third of my subscribers, which is like pretty good. A lot of people usually have engagement rate around like 10 to 20%. Or like for example, like PewDiePie, he has like 100 million subscribers and he probably gets like 2 to 3 million views per video, which is still a lot of views per video, but it's a lower engagement rate because of his relative size. So for me, I have like a smaller to mid-sized channel, but I have high engagement, and I don't really know like how that happened. I'm not super educated on like SEO and stuff, and like analytics, which is partially why I have a network, because I'm like so bad at that stuff. But I'm really grateful to have high engagement, because that means a higher proportion of people who are subscribed to me like come back and watch my videos, and that makes me really happy. That kind of tells me if my engagement rate drops, I kind of know, hey, maybe I'm not doing something right, and that's just like really helpful for me. But I think brands pay a lot more attention to engagement rate rather than overall like number of subscribers you have, because I can charge about what somebody with 150,000 people and maybe like a 20% engagement rate could charge, because even though I have like less subscribers overall, I'd still be reaching the same amount of people. But I'm always trying to learn more and always trying to figure out ways like how to improve and how to tailor my content so that more people are interested in it, and make sure that my entire audience is happy rather than just like small swaths. And you're never going to please everybody, but yeah, engagement matters. So that's why like buying followers is such a bad idea, because you're going to have a higher like overall follower count, but your engagement drops really low because they're fake and they're not interacting with your content. And like brands can come onto your page and see you have 100,000 Instagram followers, but like maybe 10 comments per post. And that's a red flag right there. I think when it comes to social media, it's one of the few places in life that you can't fake it till you make it. If you're starting out, I think you just, to a certain degree, have to be comfortable with the fact that you're not really gonna have a lot of people following you for a long time. And I think for the first 2 years of having my channel, I was over the moon excited if I got more than 100 views on the video. It's just all about slow growth, and you have to be comfortable with not making any money for a long time. I wasn't monetized until about like 2, maybe 3 years into making videos. So you do a lot of work for nothing for a long time until it starts to pay off. And I think the reason that a lot of people don't succeed at YouTube is because they quit before they get to that milestone where they get over the hump. It's all about consistency, and it's all about drive, and it's all about motivation. Like if you're getting into this just to make money, you're not going to succeed, because your heart's not going to be into it. But if you really care about what you're creating, that makes all the difference. By the way, sorry, I'm using the ColourPop Sweet Talk palette for today's eye look. I'm wanting to do a kind of like peachy tone, but very like Glossier Girl neutral eye look. You'll see, I'm just kind of freehanding it here. Next question is, do you make enough money off of YouTube to make a profit? Yes, absolutely. I didn't used to, and I'll get to that in a second, but especially since I've like scaled down my purchasing a lot, quitting the new makeup releases, favorites, and fails series and making it not a monthly series anymore was a huge help to me, because I wasn't like having to buy 10 to 15 new products every month to test out. But back when I was doing that and also like not really getting PR, I would be basically putting all the money that I got from my AdSense checks back into my channel to invest in new products to be able to talk about, which was like super unsustainable, especially since scaling down my purchasing and getting more PR so I can like talk about new releases but not necessarily have to spend a ton of money to talk about new releases has been really helpful to allow me to actually like save some of the money that I'm making. And pretty much all of it, I always make a point to deposit immediately without question, like at least 50% of my paycheck directly into savings where I can't touch it. All of that is going to medical school tuition, which I have a decent amount saved up for, but I'm still gonna have to take out hefty student loans when the time comes. And it's just all about preparing for that at the moment. But even though I'm technically making income and making a profit off of my channel, I do still invest a significant amount of my income into reinvesting in my channel and reinvesting in myself. My lighting is so weird. So for a while that meant the cost of like buying products to talk about on my channel almost pretty much outweighed the amount of money that I was bringing back in through like ad revenue and income. But now, especially because I'm spending a lot less, it's balanced out. Alright, so I have Meadow all up in my crease, and I'm just going to reach for a little bit of ICYMI and just flick that out on my outer corner. Question number 9 is, could you give us a ballpark of what your very first AdSense check looked like?
Let me... Oh my god!
Yes, and I can tell you when I got it. Back when I like applied to first get monetized, I believe the requirement was you needed to have 1,000 subscribers, so I passed that milestone about like a year into making content, and I was really excited, so I applied obviously for monetization. YouTube claims that monetization review should take like no more than a couple weeks. For me, it took about a year. YouTube has probably the worst customer service I've ever experienced in my life. Especially with smaller creators, they are very unresponsive. It's really hard to get any type of like resolution out of them, which is really difficult when they're your employer. That is like yet another reason I decided to sign on to my management network, because they have like actual direct contacts with YouTube. So if I don't just like get shut out when I have questions, I can ask my team to like directly contact YouTube, so I am actually getting communication rather than being ignored, which is super helpful. So yeah, it took me a very long time to like actually get approved for monetization, and my very first AdSense check was, I believe, like $250. I would remember just being so excited because like the fact that I could make money off of doing my side hobby and something that was fun for me was crazy. And I always thought of like free time as something that could never be monetized. And to a certain degree, I don't think it's healthy to view all your free time as something that you can be doing to like monetize. You need to give yourself time to just like relax and not be worrying about money and not worry about making money. But I was really excited about the fact that I was able to make a small amount of income off of something that I genuinely just enjoyed doing. By the way, I'm using my favorite shade in this palette called Side to Side all over my lids for this glossy lid effect. Right, I gotta like continue doing my makeup look because I have 2 more questions after this, and I'm like barely even done with my face. So I'm just gonna grab this shade down here called Feel Free and do a little bit of a smoky, subtle winged liner, but like in a very glossy, natural way. Next question is, do you make money from Instagram? I'm gonna go ahead and do my mascara. This is the Grande Cosmetics Grande Drama Mascara. No, not really. I like to keep my Instagram mostly unsponsored. That's just like a kind of personal preference thing. I know some people like do a lot more like ads on Instagram and then keep their YouTube channel mostly unsponsored. For me, I prefer the personal freedom of just posting on Instagram, and I like my feed just being pictures I post out of my own free will. I don't think I've ever done a sponsor like feed post on Instagram. Sometimes I do like sponsored Instagram stories with Poshmark, and then I'm a brand ambassador for Celsius Energy, which you guys know. I facilitated that. Like I reached out to them. That's like pretty much the only brand deal where I've ever reached out to the brand myself rather than them reaching out to me. I just don't really like doing sponsored stuff on my Instagram out of personal preference, and I know some people prefer to do their sponsored work on Instagram. For me, it feels somewhat less authentic, and I prefer to, when I'm doing a sponsorship, to be able to like verbally talk about like why I like the product, whereas I feel like it's harder to convey the authenticity through like text on an Instagram post. So yeah, no, I don't really make money at all off of Instagram. That might change. I don't know. I'd rather just do sponsored videos rather than like Instagram feed posts, you know? It's okay. It's like a cream, it's kind of a cream highlighter texture, so I think I can salvage this. Oh my god. There, I think I patched it up kind of. You get a nice swatch of that highlighter. If I really wanted to be like a true Glossier girl, I would stop here and not do any eyelashes. I like how this new makeup trend is like foxy eyes, when it's like literally just the Asian eyes that me and my friends have been teased for all of our lives. Funny how that works out. Now Instagram girls be like, okay, while I do my lips, I will answer the last and final question. How much of your income overall is made up of social media stuff? So I believe this question is asking like, out of like all the money that I bring in from all my other jobs and stuff, how much of it is like YouTube slash influencer slash social media things. The majority. For lips, I'm going to use the Kaja Air Heart lipstick in the shade 05 Sprung. I'm a full-time college student and I work 3 part-time jobs. So one of those part-time jobs is YouTube, the other one is my work at the hospital, and then the third part-time job, which I haven't talked about and I don't think I will at this point just because it's something I'd like to keep private, but it is like research related. That's my third thing. I'm currently not doing that, and I'm also not working in the hospital, so I'm only doing YouTube. Hospital job is unpaid, and then the research lab one that I've had to stop, I don't have income coming in from that anymore. So currently right now my income is social media and YouTube. Like as a full-time student, my focus isn't really on like making a ton of money off of work anyways. It's more so just gaining experience so that I can apply that experience later on to applying to medical school and hopefully furthering my career in that respect. So yeah, like the majority of my like monthly income is from YouTube and social media and stuff. Poshmark is somewhat good income. I buy sell on there. I also from time to time do like luxury slash designer flipping, and then I guess some investments and stuff. But yeah, like my main source of income is YouTube, and like I would say right now during the pandemic, I would say it's like a good 85-90% of my income. Should I wear gloss? I feel like I'm gonna end up putting on gloss. But right now I'm happy with this. I think it's pretty. Alright guys, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little chit chat get ready with me talking about YouTube money honey. Hopefully just answering any questions you guys had. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed down below. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to see makeup looks like this posted somewhat frequently. I have a TikTok with this look, so you should go watch that because it's probably going to be a treasure. I don't know, I haven't finished it yet. And if you made it to the very end of this video, you get the bonus meme. Love you. Bye.